Hello, I'm Lorian. I'm a storyteller, an educator, a journalist, but most importantly, I'm a lifelong learner. And the most important thing about learning for me is taking that information to other people so that they can use it to live better, happier lives, which is why I'm an educator and a storyteller and a journalist. But anyway, welcome to my channel. And today, in this, our very first video, our inaugural video, I'd like to talk with you about well-being. Now, I'm going with Peggy Swarbrick's model on the 8 dimensions of well-being. The idea of well-being being more than just the state of your physical body has been around for as long as recorded history. It started in the East with Eastern medicine, and it's now a well-accepted idea in the West and all over the world, really. The World Health Organization, the WHO or the WHO, depending on how you like to roll, they report health as the absence of illness, or the complete health, both mentally, spiritually, and physically. And that is the current, nationally United Nations accepted definition of health. We're going with Peggy Swarbrick's, Dr. Peggy Swarbrick's 8-dimension model. And let's see if I can make it through those 8 dimensions that we're talking about well-being. They are emotional, environmental, intellectual, physical, occupational, financial, social, and spiritual. And so there are 8 more Tuesdays and Thursdays in the month of July. And so for the month of July, I will be talking about these 8 dimensions. Hoping to drop videos Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's the plan. Here's to working up the nerve to actually do it. So here's the thing. With each video, I would like to tell you a little bit about the thing, but then I'd like to give you something that you can do with it. So today, for the introduction to the 8 dimensions, I'd like to create a radar chart with you. And the reason that I'm focusing on the 8 dimensions in July is because, according to the European Social Sciences Studies Journal, I'm going to have to look at my screen because I'm just going to read it right off the screen. Wellness is a declaration of independence. So that's what we're going with. July, I'm coming to you from America. In America, we think of July as, that's when we celebrate our independence. And so since wellness is a declaration of independence, we're going to talk about well-being. Now, one of the things that is really important to think about with the 8 dimensions is the way that they're all interconnected. So if you're doing anything that helps in any of these areas, then it can help to make your life better just overall. So even teeny tiny incremental changes done consistently can really change your quality of life in all areas. Now, not a doctor, so don't change anything without seeking medical help first if that's how you roll and that's what you think you need. I'm not giving medical advice. Don't know you personally. Even if I were a board certified physician, I still don't know you or your particular case. So there is no part of this that is medical advice or anything else. We're just talking about well-being and better choices and better habits. And again, check with your doctor or healthcare provider if you're thinking about any of it. Okay, so for one example is yoga. Now, I do yoga, I love yoga. You don't have to do yoga, you don't have to love yoga. Just as an example, if you do yoga, the physical poses are going to help your physical well-being. And if you do yoga in a group class setting, then by interacting with other people and forming connections and friendships there, it also can improve your social well-being. And then if you're using this time not just as exercise, but as to meditate and to get into touch with your spirituality, whatever your belief system is, then it can help your spiritual well-being. And so just making this one change, doing this one yoga class a week, can have impacts in at least 3 areas. And really it can have wider reaching impacts than that. So the point is that when we're talking about our well-being, that anything that we do to be a little better in any area is great. For myself personally, I go for a 30-minute walk around lunchtime now. A friend of mine walks 6 minutes every hour while she's at work. Who else do I know? My dad does, he's an experienced septuagenarian, and he does some neck loosening and neck strengthening exercises 2 or 3 minutes a day, every day. And he has reported, which were given to him by physical therapists and doctors, by the way. But just doing this one small 2 to 5 minutes of movement a day has really improved his quality of life, according to him. And these are really simple, free changes, and that, if done consistently over a long period of time, can have a great impact. So before we can talk about changing things or adding things to our lives, the first thing we need to think about is our lives and where we're at. So that's the activity that I would like to do with you now. So we're going to, I'm going to use this sheet of paper right here, and we're going to do what's called a radar chart, so that you can kind of map out where things are for you right now. So as I tell you a little bit more about each of the types of health, you can create your radar chart along with me, and you can complete the activity where you kind of map out where you're at now, so you can start thinking of areas where maybe you might like to make a teeny tiny incremental change that you know that you're physically and financially capable of, that might help your life in wide-reaching ways. Yeah, I'm gonna just have to tell you what I'm doing and just promise you that I'm going to get better at this as things go on. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you just need a plain old sheet of printer paper, and you're going to fold it. One of the reasons that I went with the 8 dimensions model is this right here. So you can fold it in half, fold it in half again, open it up. This gives you 4 quarters, and you're going to put a large dot in the middle of the 4 quarters. Now, I've been working with students for a really long time, and I know that a lot of people struggle with perfectionism, and I'm not even playing here, where it is difficult, if not impossible, for them to move on from here if they don't have precisely measured points. So in going with 8, we can fold the paper in half again, crossways. And again, crossways. So that what you end up with is you end up with a dot, and then you end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rays. And these will be where we're going to label our 8 types of health. So I'm going to give you definitions of the 8 types of health, and we're going to put them on the outside, around the edges of the paper. And I got these definitions from the University of Chicago. So on their page, and I will have the links to all of the resources that I used in the description so that you can check my work. Journalism, fact-checking, important. So you can look for yourself, and then you can also find additional resources if you're interested in more information, because the teacher in me fantasizes that everyone is always interested in more information. Okay, so we said emotional. So emotional, I'm putting mine, I have terrible handwriting, by the way. I'm just putting mine right on top. You can put yours wherever. Wherever. You do you, whatever works for you. Okay, so there's emotional, there's environmental, Okay, so according to the University of Chicago, emotional well-being is accepting your worth, recognizing and expressing your feelings in healthy ways, and coping with life's challenges. So resiliency. I have a friend who actually runs the Resiliency Center, and I'm really hoping I can interview her on camera at some point to bring you some of her wealth of information. She's kind of amazing. Okay, so environmental well-being, again, according to the University of Chicago, is understanding how your surroundings and community may impact your overall well-being and establishing a supportive environment. Now, I include like house cleaning and home decor here too, because if you're living in a very cluttered, very messy environment, it's very difficult to focus or to live your best life. And there are plenty of studies to back that up, but I'll go more into that in the video on environmental health. So the next one I'm doing is financial. And again, according to the University of Chicago, financial well-being is understanding your current financial situation and planning for financial health, for future financial health. And I've got notes here for myself. It's not just about planning, it's about preparing. So knowing that if you have a child, your child may need orthodontic work in their early to late teenage years. Doesn't just mean like thinking, oh, he's gonna need braces one day. It's actually like putting the money into an account so that when he does need braces, that's something that you can afford to help with your child's well-being as well. So again, we'll talk more about that when we get to financial. After financial is intellectual well-being, which is one of my favorites. Again, lifelong learner. Intellectual well-being, according to the University of Chicago, is being actively engaged in creative and mentally stimulating activities in pursuit of lifelong learning. Spoiler alert, that's what August is for us. Okay. Physical. Let's get physical. Okay. In addition to having terrible handwriting. Also, can't carry a tune in a front end loader. Okay, so physical well-being is maintaining a healthy quality of life through regular physical activity, proper nutrition, and restful sleep. Now, I included in here knowing about health maintenance, making and keeping the proper appointments, like vision and hearing exams, annual checkups, dental cleanings, cancer screenings, etc. Knowing what you need to be watching out for your age and stage in life and any predispositions you have, and then making sure that you're staying on top of that so that you can maintain a high level of health instead of just waiting until you're very sick and that there's a problem before you think about addressing anything. And then after physical, we have social well-being. Social well-being is creating and maintaining healthy relationships and establishing supporting social networks. Speaking of social networks, follow me. I'm at the Folklorian on Twitter and Instagram. And then we have spiritual well-being. And spiritual well-being, according to Chicago, is discovering meaning and purpose in life and understanding beliefs, values, and ethics that help guide your life. Okay, and then lastly, we have occupational well-being. Now, Dr. Strawbrisk put this in her research, and again, you'll have that link. The University of Chicago did not, so I do not have a clean, nice University of Chicago definition for this. But we're just gonna say ikigai, right? Like you like what you do, it is meaningful to you. And in this way, I'm thinking of like occupation as in like how you occupy your time, and it can be like your job, that your job is meaningful and that the stress, if there is any, is positive and manageable. And if you're not employed, really it's any way you occupy your time. So if you are a homemaker, you enjoy spending your time doing that, and that's how you're family works and you're happy, then be your occupational well-being for our purposes for right now. Okay, so what you end up with is this piece of paper with a dot in the middle and all of the labels of all of the types of well-being we've discussed all around the outside. Now, if you would like, you may draw lines. I'm putting dotted lines. Sometimes I feel like Bob Ross, like happy little trees. I'm putting dotted lines. You may put lines along the creases toward your well-being labels if you would like, if that makes you happy. And also another thing that you can do, and some of you are going to go nuts because in addition to not being able to carry a tune, I also can't draw a straight line even with a crease to go on. So, and I'm okay with that. That's not one of my problems. I have lots of problems, but that's not one of them. Okay, I've got 99 problems and that ain't one. So, but here you go. And I'm okay with that. If you're not okay, there's rulers. Avert your eyes when I hold my janky chart up. Just whatever works for you. Okay. And then I'm going to, and so now we've made a chart and we're going to plot the points in the chart. So we're going to look at a type of well-being, and we're going to think about where we think we are at personally with that right now. So physical, for me personally, things have been getting a lot better for a while. I was not even functioning because of knee pain, but been doing a lot of physical rehab and I'm doing a lot better, but I still can't do the things that I used to be able to do. So I'm putting a point fairly low. Now, if you're the kind of extra special person who wants to like measure this with a ruler and then put in points at like specified intervals, you do you. But for me, I'm just gonna go with it like this. So if you want to do that, you pause the video, you do that, and then just fast forward past this part. Okay, so for my social well-being, normally would be amazing, but during the pandemic, not so much. Spiritual well-being, gonna put myself here-ish. Then for occupational well-being, I'm going way low there. Emotional well-being, feeling pretty good these days. I feel like I've made a lot of progress. Environmental well-being, financial well-being, again, a lot of progress, a lot of things that I am pretty proud of, a lot of accomplishments. And then as far as intellectual well-being, feeling pretty good about that too. So now I have points on all of here and I just made them up, and that's okay. This is what I feel fairly reflects me and where I'm at right now in my journey. I just want you to do what you feel fairly reflects you in your journey. No one ever has to see this. I'm going to give you the opportunity to share it with me if you would like, but you don't have to, and I'm not going to come over and look at it. So I'm never ever going to know. No one, you don't show or tell, is ever going to know. This is just for you to get a baseline of where you are. And remember, we're going to talk about each of these things for the whole month of July. So you might choose to work on things that might improve in these areas, and this is a great way to see that improvement. Okay, so if you would like, and I would like, you can kind of connect the dots like you did as a small child, or maybe not even as a small child. Maybe this is something you do for funsies now, but you just connect the dots in a fairly organic, fluid manner. And this is what my radar chart looks like right now. Now, in theory, and I like to put dates on things like this when I do it, because then when I look at it, and I'm a hoarder, not literally, I shouldn't say that because not literally, but I do tend to have emotional attachments to physical things and have difficulty letting go. So I may very well find this paper 5 years from now or 10 years from now, and so it will humor me to know today's date. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You do you. And so now I have this shape, and what will happen is that as we work on things over the next month or throughout our lives, we can go back here periodically and we can put in a new array, a new set of dots for wherever we feel like we're at that point in our life, and we can use like a different color, and then we can see areas in which we've progressed. And so that can be a fun way to move forward. So I really hope that you did this with me, and I hope you come along with me for the rest of July, or whenever you find this channel. I hope that you come along with me for this July journey of wellness as independence. And there's just a couple things I want to leave you with that I really hope you remember. And the first thing is that anything you do is good. So even just thinking about these things, even if you're not at the doing them part yet, just being more aware, informing yourself. In learning about this, you are working on your intellectual well-being. So come along with me for the journey. Anything you do is great. Anything that you do can help in multiple areas of your life. And the biggest takeaway is that you are fantastic the way you are right now. No matter what your little amorphous amoeba radar chart looks like, you are already lovable, you are already capable, and you deserve to be taken care of. So I hope you come along in this journey with me and learn more about taking care of yourself and give yourself the love and care that you already deserve. Thanks. Bye.